is, would Pam Bondi be willing to do anything other than Donald Trump's bidding? Joining me now is former federal prosecutor Andrew Weissmann and Melissa Murray, NYU law professor and co-host of the Strict Scrutiny podcast. Andrew, I will start with you to see how yesterday's performance by Pam Bondi, when placed against the sound that you heard at the top of this block, where she was parroting Donald Trump's lies about stolen votes and fraud in Pennsylvania, how that fares for whether or not she would be an independent AG or someone who would investigate fake claims about the 2000 election.
Well, it was a really interesting hearing because Pam Bondi, on paper, is somebody who has qualifications for the job. She was the AG in Florida. She's an experienced prosecutor. She was very poised and articulate and clearly is smart. And she said some of the right things about there won't be an enemies list, that it's important for the department to be independent. I mean, she said all those things. However, and there's a huge but, and that is when you actually tested that by saying, was there fraud in the election that was outcome determinative? Are the January 6th people who are convicted, are they in fact political prisoners and not just defendants who've been given all of their rights? She couldn't bring herself to show the independence that the Attorney General position requires. So although she would say things that on one hand that sounded good, when push came to shove, when she was tested on it, she really could not bring herself to say anything that would be disruptive or unpleasant for the president-elect, which is part of the job of being the Attorney General.
Yeah, let me give an example of that, Melissa. This is the response that Pam Bondi gave as to whether she would investigate Jack Smith.
The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith. Is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case.
If you're Joe Biden, do you now consider giving Jack Smith a preemptive pardon because it sounds like she would investigate Jack Smith?
Obviously, there was a lot that was left unsaid here, but the fact of the matter, Joy, is that Pam Bondi is going to sail to a confirmation in this position because she has the, I guess, good fortune of not being a frat paddle turned into a real live boy. She's not Matt Gaetz, and that makes all of the difference here. As Andrew said, she is qualified. I will note that her managerial experience is a little light. She's been the Florida AG. The Florida AG doesn't even manage as many attorneys as exists in the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Florida in Miami-Dade County. The Justice Department is a huge and complex organism. You are not only managing the attorneys in Maine Justice and the civil and criminal divisions, you're also managing the U.S. Attorney's offices throughout the country. There were 93 of those. You're also managing all of these different divisions, FBI, ATF, the U.S. Marshal Service. It's a managerial job. You are the CEO of all of that, not simply a prosecutor or an attorney. And we really didn't even get into a lot of that simply because the bar is low here because she is obviously qualified and she's not her predecessor. And I think we have to grapple with that. The fact that the zone is absolutely flooded with candidates who so go beyond the norms of what we might expect, that someone who does look a little bit like a normie is bound to just get through.
Yeah, indeed. And just to buttress what you're saying, the Department of Justice has 115,000 employees. There are 12,000 plus attorneys, 16,000 plus correctional officers, and 25,000 agents. Let's do another one. This is Pam Bondi when she was asked about Kash Patel's enemies list.
Would you have hired someone into the Florida Attorney General's office who you knew had an enemies list?
Senator, to cut to the chase, you're clearly talking about Kash Patel. I don't believe he has an enemies list. He made a quote on TV, which I have not heard. I have known Kash, And I believe that Kash is the right person at this time for this job. You'll have the ability to question Mr. Patel.
And I'm questioning you right now
do.
about whether you will enforce an enemies list that he announced publicly on television.
Oh, Senator, I'm sorry. There will never be an enemies list within the Department of Justice.
Oh, there's an enemies list. You're on it, Andrew. It was published in his book, Government Gangsters. It includes Democrats, Biden administration officials, Trump appointees like William Barr, Rod Rosenstein, Robert Hur, and you. So she would enforce it, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm in very good company. So, you know, one of the things that it's really important to remember is just going to that clip about Kash Patel and your introductory clip where Pam Bondi was saying there was fraud in the election in Pennsylvania. Well, it wasn't. And Kash Patel is the person who said that the president-elect declassified all of the documents, and he saw the president declassify all of the documents that apparently were found in Mar-a-Lago. So you have somebody who's going to be the attorney general. I agree with Melissa. She will sail through because she's not Matt Gaetz and she is not Robert Kennedy Jr. and she's not Kash Patel, but still she's not tethered to facts. To sit there and say Kash Patel is the right person for the job, I mean, that is really preposterous. To say that there's fraud in the election in Pennsylvania, there are no facts to support that. And to parrot that you're going to be governed by facts and law as the Attorney General can be tested by then looking at specific instances where she's absolutely not guided by facts. So we're really in for a rough ride, I think, because of that dichotomy of seeing what she might say, but in fact, what she does, I think, is going to belie that. But, you know, we have to hope that she will.
I'm going to just say that, you know, we should consider it a victory that the right considers a woman attorney general to be qualified for any job, given that they did not feel that way about the sitting vice president of the United States, who was the former attorney general of the largest state in the country, California. Andrew Weissmann and Melissa Murray, thank you both. Up next, the Democratic Party is in